5, New AI Videos Weekly.
This week we're looking at submissions to an AI animation competition that's currently running and put together by Curious Refuge and Promise, two names that we've been following a while in this space, John.
That's right. In fact, Promise, which is backed by Andreessen Horowitz, and made their announcements about that funding a few months ago, has acquired Curious Refuge as a new operating group of their company. So this is an interesting combination of companies, and this contest that we're going to be talking about today is really the first project that they're doing together. And I'd encourage everyone to take a look at the site and maybe even get involved in the contest yourself, because it's still running as of the airing of this podcast.
Yeah, when we recorded this, there were about 60 submissions that we went through, and these are the 5 that stood out. Yeah,
Kai, we might have to come back and revisit a round 2 of these as more submissions come in. I'm Jon Rogers.
And I'm Kai Turner.
Number one.
What we are trying to do here, quite successfully, is simply to resurrect the old gods.
And our first video from the contest that we're going to talk about is called Reconstructing the Divine, coming from a filmmaker based in Stockholm named Jakob Söe-Pedersen. I hope I got that pronunciation right. And this is actually a really cool concept. The idea behind it is, what happens if technology at some point in the future allows us to essentially reanimate or bring forth the mythological gods of our past, like Anubis or Medusa? And then what happens when you actually do that? So I think it's just a really fun concept that he's come up with here.
Yeah, I thought this was such a unique premise, like some obscure Japanese video game you wouldn't expect to see in live action. I really like the visual style, the art direction, the character design. It's this organic meets high-tech aesthetic that creates such a lush world, and I'd love to see it expanded out.
One thing I'll add there, Kai, is on the design, I really felt it. I didn't even know that Jakob, at the time when I saw this, he was the filmmaker, and he's based in Stockholm, but I immediately saw this and thought Scandinavian design aesthetic. And I don't know if that's intentional or accidental, but it absolutely, design is very beautiful here.
Number two.
In a world before clocks and calendars, before schedules and due dates, everyone knew their place, except for Terry.
So next up we have The Long Shot by Douglas Smith. This is a kind of off-the-wall short that features a kind of renegade dinosaur who discovers and makes sense of advanced technology, eventually founding a dinosaur space program. I really enjoy these shorts that just run with an absurd premise and keep going without looking back. It feels very Adult Swim, and I think more creators should embrace this kind of ridiculous comedy as an art form.
Yeah, I'll riff on that for a second, Kai, and I really appreciate that this is imagining a world of the dinosaurs before the meteor, of course, and an alternative outcome, essentially, or really an alternative way in which they lived, where they had technology and an ability to escape into space. And I also love that there's kind of the hero of the video is a dinosaur named Terry, and it's really comical. I think it's a lot of fun. And what I really was watching in this was, even though this isn't related to Jurassic Park, what was really striking to me is I can see a million fan videos in the future, kind of in this style, tongue-in-cheek, poking some fun. And now if this would have been Jurassic Park, or imagine Star Wars, or imagine any big franchise, that the tools and the ability to actually make something really fun and unique and play with an IP is clearly here.
Number three.
Rockaway Beach has this way of sneaking up on you. You catch the A train, and suddenly you're surrounded by concrete, and then bam, the ocean.
Our next video today is called A New York Minute, Rockaway Beach by Jack Feldstein. And what I really loved about this, it's a short video, it's only about a minute or so, but I really like that it's almost like a personal essay about his love and experience growing up in and around Rockaway Beach and what really makes it a special and unique place. But what the AI has really done here is, for the storyteller, is it's really allowed to put sort of a color wash and a style that would be really hard to do without a team of animators. So this is something where a single filmmaker was able to create this really stylized, fun, quick video using the tools.
Yeah, as someone who grew up in New York, this makes me very nostalgic. The animation here is using a keyframe technique we saw in a music video in a previous episode, rotating through 3 similar images to create a kind of picture in motion. What makes this piece stand out, I think, is the quality of the writing. Jack is a playwright and a script writer, and it really shows. And what you were saying about how this is an enabler. I mean, someone can come to the medium as a strong writer and create a video short using the tools.
Number 4.
Next up, we have Inconsistency by Kostiantyn Rozumnyi. The premise of this is a meta-commentary on how hard it is to create consistent characters in an AI video. So Kostiantyn takes that challenge and turns it into a funny story and music video about what reality would be like in a world where appearance actually did change fluidly like that. What's interesting is that while he's highlighting a technological challenge, he's doing some pretty sophisticated things like changing the character in a single shot as the camera's moving. So it's clearly a demonstration that he's mastered the tools while still pointing out their shortcomings.
Yeah, what came to mind as I was watching this video is that Kostiantyn has really kind of come up with a unique style, and he's been consistent all the way through, which is kind of ironic because it's about inconsistency. But the character forms and shapes are you could call part of a design family. And when I think about what Pixar does with their characters, even though every movie is unique across Pixar, there is a consistent design of characters. Or when you look at Illumination movies, the same thing, or DreamWorks movies, the same thing. And I was really just kind of thinking about that as I was watching this, that he's talking about this inconsistency in characters in the world, but yet he's got consistency and form in his own, and it brings it together as a cohesive piece. I think it's really interesting from that perspective.
Number 5.
Oh, snap. I can't believe this thing still works.
And our last video this week is called Zombie Bunker Tour, Survivors Don't Die, from a collective of filmmakers going by the name Oh Hey Void. I love the branding. And what Oh Hey Void has done here is really telling a story about a time in the future when the world has become overcome by zombies. There's nothing original there, but what's unique about this idea is that they've added an element where the zombies are also cyborgs. So presumably humans created cyborgs at some point, and then the cyborgs became zombies. I haven't seen that one before, but this is what AI allows. It allows that kind of somewhat crazy, whimsical look at something that otherwise might be a serious story, and just kind of playing up into the extreme corner of the idea.
Yeah, I thought it was a really clever use of the found footage style. I know they're using a few techniques like the 3D model called metahumans that creates these realistic characters that they can use for the person that's talking in first person, and they've used it to great effect. I like the tone they're going for with this character presenting like this some kind of Instagram reel as she describes this techno-enhanced zombie apocalypse. And the team behind it is looking to produce a full show, so I hope they continue on with this premise and level of production. Thanks. That's it for this week. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe.
We'll see you next time.